Kentucky's Voice Radio, covering the latest state and local issues with Tom Fallbush, Bob Scott, and Jim Waters.
And welcome to this edition of Kentucky's Voice. I'm so excited that you're joining us today. It is going to be an absolutely fantastic show. You're either listening to us live right now on 970 WGTK Radio, or a tape version on WBNA TV channel 21, where faith, freedom, and common sense still matter. I'm your host today, Bob Scott. And folks, we have a powerful show lined up for you. If you want to join in the discussion with a comment or a thought, you can text us at 502-571-0970. Again, that text line number is 502-571-0970. It's the number that you're seeing on the screen if you're watching by TV. Joining me is a man who knows what tyranny looks like up close and personal. He is a frequent staple on Kentucky's Voice. Vladimar Aguilar, a Cuban immigrant, a survival of communism, and a proud American patriot who's seen firsthand what happens when freedom is taken for granted. Vlad, welcome back to Kentucky's Voice.
Thank you for having me here, and, more than glad to join you today on the show.
Awesome. We have a strong show today, from teen crime in Louisville to political hypocrisy in Washington, big surprise, to the battle for truth and freedom in America. And to kick things off, we're going to look at a video that's absolutely exploding online and social media. It's Louisville Police Chief Paul Humphrey calling out the rise of teen crime and pointing directly to poor parenting as a cause. Please play that clip.
I find it hard to believe that people say that they don't know where their kids are. That's a you problem. That is a parenting problem. We hear the things, you hear it all the time. They just got caught up in the wrong crowd. No, your kid is the wrong crowd. Your kid is the wrong crowd, and they're a reflection of you. You need to know where your kids are. If I had a mechanism to deal with parents better, whose kids commit violent crimes or are caught in doing these types of crimes, I would prosecute parents all day long. I wish we could prosecute that person for complicity to whatever violent crime that kid commits. You're putting them in a position where their potential, their future is already cut short because of the activities they're involved in. And if we can find ways as a community to get to these kids before it ends up the way that it does, with us having to make lockups or us having to take them to the coroner's office, then that's our goal. So I'm putting that call of action out to the community, to parents, to neighbors. Get these kids in line. Make sure you know where your kids are. It is unacceptable if you don't know what's going on in your 15-year-old's life. Plain and simple.
And Vlad, that is an incredibly strong and powerful message from Louisville Police Chief Humphrey that has struck a chord. Over 1 million views. I'll say it again, over 1 million views and counting right now on social media. He's saying what a lot of people have been thinking. Why do you think this message has hit so hard, Vlad?
Because many people, especially like parents, we totally agree with him. Like, I always blame the lack of parenting on those juvenile crimes. As a parent myself, my son, he's 21 years old. He's a grown man already. He lives with me, and still, every time he goes to whatever of his jobs, like he got 2 jobs, I'm always texting him, hey, what's going on? Where are you? What's happening? And we have like a strong communication. So, yeah, I totally agree with that. Also, I think that we should enforce that persecuting the parents for this situation.
Yeah, and you're one of many people saying that our youngest son also lives with us. And that's a common thing going on right now in America. Vlad, I want you to stay tuned, and I want the listeners and the viewers to stay tuned. Coming up next, Senator Mark Wayne Mullen of Oklahoma takes aim at the No Kings rally. What was that really all about? And why are some of the left celebrating an event that mocks faith and freedom? We'll get to that here in a second. Don't go anywhere. This is Kentucky's Voice. We'll see you right after this very short commercial break. Be sure to stay tuned. God bless.
God bless.
Now, back to Kentucky's Voice Radio, online at kyvoice.org.
If you look at their sponsorship of the No Kings Rally, it says CPUSA, which is the Communist Party of the United States of America. And it actually has the same symbol that the old Soviet Union used to have on it. When my team first saw it, they looked at it and they said, is this for real? We researched it, and sure enough, you can see it right there in the bottom left-hand corner where it says CPUSA. You're going, okay, there's a reason why Republicans are calling this an anti-American rally. It is exactly what it is. When you have the Communist Party that's sponsoring it, you're saying that's pro-America? Come on, give me a break. And you're protesting on the streets that President Trump made safe. You're protesting on the streets that President Trump has made it possible for you to actually walk outside. I mean, you're protesting President Trump, who's secured the border, who's lowered inflation, who's brought down gas prices, who's had morale in the military at the highest it's been. You go through the optimistic outlook for the American people, and they're saying that this is the first time they feel hopeful about it. He's ended 8 wars. He's brought home the hostages in Israel, and yet you still see signs out there that says Free Palestine. I mean, are you kidding? You can't make this stuff up. What are you exactly protesting other than your hatred towards President Trump? And it's absolutely absurd. Well, it even gets crazier than that.
Yes, and Senator Mullen absolutely did not hold back, and I must say rightfully so. That No Kings rally, in my opinion, was a farce, and it seemed like yet another attack on traditional values, people of faith, and America itself. Let's try to break this down, Vlad. When you see rallies like this, and it's usually the far left that's doing it, and by the way, the Democratic Party has been hijacked, taken hostage by a very radical far left element, but when you see this, I know, and a big reason I wanted you to be on the program today, and I was so glad you were available. You saw this. I mean, You saw this in your native country, up close and personal. And, do you see any parallels between this and what you saw in Cuba, and where the regime tried to erase faith and morality from society?
Let me start with the reality and the powerful statement. This is the most anti-monarchy country in the world. Remember, we got the founding fathers fighting against a king just to become a free nation. So these people, of course, the left, they will try to use their hate to promote seems like division on the country, and they're trying to polarize the citizens all the time. Because at the end of the day, it's about having chaos and trying to interrupt a law and order in the country. This is what it's all about. And when you see the Communist Party, and not only is the Communist Party of the United States, we got so many organizations tied to the left and the socialist and communist organizations. When you see these people being used with the money of the, let's say, the rich people they are fighting against to promote that hate on the streets, this is like total hypocrisy. Because if you're fighting against rich people, how come you are using this rich people money to promote that on the streets?
Right. Yeah. You bring up an excellent point, and I'm glad you did, because it is multi-billionaires' money.
Yeah, Soros, Rockefeller Foundation, the Ford Foundation, Arabella. I have I don't know if we can put it on the screen. I find out investigation how much money all these rich people is giving to those organizations, and it's total hypocrisy. Like, how come that, without mentioning the fact that if you are free to protest in America, that means there is no kingdom, there is no tyranny, there is no. What are you talking about? You get the freedom to do it. You know why?
Yeah.
because we are a republic, and that's why the founding fathers fight against they fought against the king. So it's insane. It's insane what we're seeing these days.
Yeah, and you were talking about, I was really kind of surprised about the number of very wealthy billionaires, and they're on both sides. I will say that, and sometimes you kind of feel like you're a chess pawn on a board that's trying to bring about division,
Of course.
in the country. And I know, in particular, one of the billionaires or billionairesses, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, is someone that I can't think of her name right now, but she's an heiress to Walmart, which is traditionally thought of as being leaning more conservative. And, certainly some of the other family members may do that. But she's one of the people, that has funded a lot of these rallies, if you will. And, what I guess, in all honesty, do you think is driving this hostility toward faith and freedom in our country?
Well, the bottom line for these people, it's like they want the rest of the people being their slave. That's the bottom line. Like, why in the sane common sense you will have someone to create these chaos to bring more division into the country? Why you don't want a person like Trump? Because I don't follow men's or women's. I follow ideas.
Yes.
The Trump idea about MAGA, make America great again. I love that idea. Yes. I came to America because I want to be great in this great country. So how in the common sense you will fight against this? There is only one question. There is only one answer for that. You want chaos because you want other people remain slave, like mentally, physically, with like a probably like, is this person works for Walmart or they have a Walmart business? Of course, they want to pay, really bad, low salaries to that people. And this is the kind of people they want to. Because, of course, bringing this division into the country will lead to the left agenda to sneak into the politics. And at the end of the day, what we're going to see, like open borders, low wages, salaries, and, high prices, inflation, and whatever we've seen on the last 4 years.
Yeah. And, our state motto, united we stand, divided we fall. That's really at the heart of it. And it was so important to us. We made it our motto, hundreds of years ago, that it is important, and it's okay. It's okay to have disagreement. Have I absolutely 100% agreed with President Trump on everything that he's done? Absolutely not.
Of course not. Of course not.
And the beautiful thing is, I can still speak out and let my feelings be known. And in fact, we're going to have a segment on that a little bit later in the show, where there is something that he's done that I absolutely vehemently disagree with. But again, is it causing me to throw the baby out with the bathwater? No, I thank God every day that President Trump was elected president of this United States, and we weren't saddled with a totalitarian Marxist leader as we saw in Kamala Harris. So we and that particular administration and those who were backing her, because to this day I still maintain that she and Joe are nothing but puppets, whose strings are being pulled. I know we have about a minute and a half to go in this segment. I guess my question to you, as someone who's experienced that totalitarianism up close and personal, how can communities push back in a positive, faith-based way without falling into outrage and despair?
Well, the first thing, and that's basically my main goal with the my YouTube channel, The Cuban Show, is trying to educate people. Because I'll be honest with you, sometimes people are too busy to know about the real history or about the real facts. And when you take a chance to tell them, like, hey, be careful with this, because this is not the real thing. And I've been experiencing that myself on the show. People that when they start seeing my show, they say, like, I don't get what you mean with those things you are saying. But then, little by little, they'll get in it. And at the end of the day, they now understand what it's all about it.
Yeah, and I will say this, folks, if you haven't seen Vlad's show, I highly recommend it. It's absolutely worth your time to check it in. Faith, I will say, isn't the problem in America, it's the solution. And as Senator Mullen reminded us, when we stop honoring God, we lose our moral compass. Up next, Nancy Pelosi snaps at a reporter over the January 6th investigation. It's a revealing moment. It's a lot about the current climate in Washington. Stay tuned. You're listening to Kentucky's Voice.
Are you ready to stand for truth? Kentucky is at a crossroads, and we need voices that won't back down. This is your moment to rise, speak up, and be part of a movement that's changing the narrative in the Commonwealth. Kentucky's Voice is calling on bold citizen journalists, fearless editors, and those unafraid to speak truth in the public square. Volunteer, intern, contribute. Scan the QR code or visit kyvoice.org to join the fight. This is more than media. This is your moment. You are Kentucky's voice.
Back to Kentucky's Voice Radio, online at kyvoice.org.
Congresswoman Pelosi, are you at all concerned that the new January 6th committee will find you liable for that day? Are you at all concerned about the new January 6th committee finding you liable for that day? Why did you refuse the National Guard on January 6th?
Shut up. I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
The American people want to know. We still have questions.
And there we have it, folks. Good old Nancy Pelosi lying again. Big surprise. Trump did ask for the National Guard to be called out before his rally happened. And she was the one that had to sign off on it. And guess what? She didn't sign off on it. That's a fact. She is obviously very visibly irritated and shaken about the January 6th investigation, where I believe and I hope that we're going to finally get at the truth behind it. We know that one of the big lies that's been uncovered was that the FBI had minimal participation in it. Well, guess what? We come to find out that there were, in fact, over 245 or thereabouts FBI agents that were on site that day. So this is just the tip of the iceberg, and it's a real shame because so many good patriotic Americans were absolutely crucified in this made-up witch hunt, that happened. Were led by Nancy Pelosi and company, and it wasn't just her that was orchestrating it. But by the way, you are watching Kentucky's Voice. If you want to join in today's discussion, feel free to text us, and now's your chance. Any kind of comment or thought that you have, you can do so by texting 502-571-0970. Again, that number on your screen is 502-571-0970. My special guest today, I'll call him a co-host because that's really what he is Vladimir Aguilar. Got tongue-tied there for a second, Vlad. Let me ask you a question. When you hear a government official like Nancy Pelosi, and a high-ranking government official, obviously, that's being called, just ask a simple question regarding accountability. What does that tell you?
Well, Bob, first, we need to be a little, considerate here a little bit, because probably she was leading She was probably like dealing with a hangover. We don't know, and that's why she was so irritated. But yeah, the thing is, like, these people, they will do whatever they need to do to implement their agenda. Their agenda is simple. They want to overthrow government. They want to become a tyranny to get the people. If these people, and I mean, remember, they tried to do it back in the past.
Yes.
If these people can eliminate elections, they will do it. And I knew from the first moment. I was talking to a good friend of mine about January 6th. I remember when they were airing all the Trump speeches on every single TV station, news channel, and all of that. I saw that suspicious. I say, like, something might happen here, because remember, Trump was banned for every single social media, TV station, and all of that. And suddenly, everyone was, broadcasting that speech. And I saw that suspicious, and I thought, like, let's see what happens here. And then we saw all the videos, like agitators trying to incite people, like, no, come inside, let's go to the Capitol and all of that. I knew from the first moment that I was an inside job. And of course, the only way to stop that was sending the National Guard.
And you really make a good point. We know in communist Cuba, a lot of very similar things were done as they were assuming power.
It's a manual. Like, if you see Saul Alinsky manual, it's the same thing. Like, Hillary read that manual. Obama, they read that manual too. Like, it's a thing. It's a real thing. That's how they overthrown government.
Yeah, and how did the leaders in Cuba go about, I guess, handling public questioning or dissent? And do you? I think we know the answer to that, but go ahead and share that. But do you see similarities here?
Well, of course not at all. We just got a really good guy who left Cuba like last week. He need to exile himself in Spain. That guy spent like around like 4 or 5 years in jail just because he got one of those signs requesting freedom for another political dissident in the streets, just to having a sign claiming for freedom for someone else. That guy spent like 4 years on jail. So imagine how different it's from here. Like, I'm pretty sure all of that people with those signs saying like Trump is a Nazi or whatever, they will be in jail in Cuba, 100%.
Yeah, and many Americans feel that, like, January 6th issue is being used as a political weapon. What's your take on that? How do you respond to that?
Well, first thing, remember, these people, they work on the emotions all the time. They try to get emotional, and that's why you see the drama they trying to create all the time, because they know how to play with the people's emotion. And I remember having like a bunch of Cuban friends on January 6th saying like, oh, no, this is bad. Trump is a dictator. Like, all the Trump supporters, they are like, all kind of sort of like bad stuff. And I told them, like, guys, don't let your emotions win on the political debate.
Yeah.
Because I can prove either today in 10 years that this was an inside job. And guess what? These days, that now has been proved, we got all the FBI agents on the field that they could prevent these cows. I'm telling them, like, I told you, don't let emotions to win your debate on the political side.
Yeah, good point. And, I guess my question to you would be, how do you restore trust when the media and justice system seem so politicized?
Well, exactly what the Trump administration is doing right now. Like, and I'll be clear about this. This is Vladimir Aguilar opinion, personal opinion. The only way we can restore the trust on the federal government and the media outlets and all that kind of stuff we are being going through is holding all these people accountable. There's no other way. If they commit a crime, they should pay for it. They should go to jail for that crime. Because we saw people on January 6th that people that they weren't even there in the Capitol. We saw that people going to jail. So if we discover like someone, either on the government, either on the medias, whatever, if we see someone committing a crime, we need to hold that people accountable.
Yeah, and again, and we have just a minute to go in this segment. You have lived under real propaganda. Do you see similarities in how information is being controlled today?
It's all propaganda. And that's actually why I opened the Cuban show, because I say, well, this is the only way to fight all that propaganda. And God bless that we still have some freedom under the First Amendment, because and make no mistake, they are trying to knock me down. There's different ways they are trying to do it.
Yeah, and it's happening to a lot of social media influencers. You know what? Accountability shouldn't make anyone nervous, unless there's something that they're trying to hide. Folks, coming up, we'll talk about Congressman Thomas Massie and the coordinated attacks he's now facing, even from within his own party. Come back with myself and Vladimir Aguilar. Stay with us on Kentucky's Voice. See you on the other side of this break.
Now, back to Kentucky's Voice Radio, online at kyvoice.org.
These commercials that are running, they're paid by 3 billionaires. It's called, at the end of the ad, they have to tell you who's running the ad. The end of the ad says, paid for by MAGA Kentucky. It's not Kentuckians, I can tell you that. It's 3 billionaires have funded all of these ads. One is Miriam Adelson. She's from Las Vegas and some casinos, and the other 2 are hedge fund managers from West Palm Beach and New York City. Why would 3 billionaires spend millions of dollars against a congressman in Kentucky? I can tell you this, dogs do not bark at parked cars. It's because I am changing the narrative in Washington, D.C. There are congressmen up there, nobody ever knows their name. They might be there 10 or 20 years. But I have made a name not for being difficult, but for being principled. And I have the respect of my colleagues, and I can change opinion up there. And there are a few people upset about that. I'll tell you what the billionaires have in common. They are all mad at me because I will not vote for foreign aid. I believe we need to spend our money here in America. So what's a few million to them, Well, here's the fun part. They've been looking for 5 months and they can't find a candidate. They are looking for a warm body. Why would somebody not do this? It sounds like a great proposition. 3 billionaires are going to spend $20 million to get you elected. Do you want to be owned by 3 billionaires? Let me tell you what the 3 billionaires stand for. They have all given to pro-abortion Democrats. One of them did a fundraiser for Chuck Schumer. One of them donated the max donation to Liz Cheney after she voted to impeach Donald Trump. And one of them, funny enough, is in Epstein's black book. Wonder why he wants to spend money against me. These are the billionaires who, they aren't really Republican or Democrat. They're part of the uniparty. Whoever's in power, that's who they give the money to. That's who their friends are, and they look out for their friends. And they've been politically connected, and they have a lot of influence in Washington, D.C. But I don't think they're going to be able to fool people in Kentucky. I don't think they're going to have any influence here. And they're going to try, though. So I'm standing here not running against 3 other candidates. I'm standing here running against 3 billionaires until they can find somebody who can fog a glass. And I'm going to ask for your vote.
And that was Congressman Thomas Massie at a recent speaking engagement. I think it was actually a couple of weeks ago, before an official opponent has been named. Guess what? If you haven't heard, President Trump recently posted on his account, and I am going to read it to you. Third-rate Congressman Thomas Massie, a weak and pathetic rhino from the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, a place I love, and one big there 6 times, must be thrown out of office as soon as possible. The incredible people of Kentucky's 4th Congressional District gave us a mandate to make America great again, and the person that will help us do that is Navy SEAL, Army Ranger, and 5th-generation Kentucky farmer, Captain Ed Gallrein, a true American patriot. That was also followed by another very influential person that's been on our is on our station from time to time, Leland Conway. And I'm going to read to you his statement. He says, "I'm extraordinarily PO'd." I'm going to tone it down just a little bit, but you can see what he said, at Trump for pushing a primary of Representative Thomas Massie. Massie is my friend, and he's one of the most principled politicians in Washington. Trump should focus on being president. Massie will win this race because Kentuckians are smart enough to ignore this nonsense. And again, that's from Leland Conway. As you saw, he's a huge friend, longtime friend and fan of Massie, and says the good news, many are saying that the good news is that President Trump picked Ed Gallrein, who is considered an establishment candidate. And there's a lot of information out there to back that up. In fact, he also went on to say that Ed Gallrein is a snake, in his opinion. So it's definitely getting spicy with regard to the 4th congressional race. Bottom line is, and that's the beautiful thing, we don't always have to agree. And certainly, and I'll say it, I'm a proud voter for President Trump every time that he's run for office. But this is one that I do disagree with him on. And there's a lot more of me out there than I think what he even realizes. And, Vlad, let me bring you into this. And again, my special guest today is Vladimir, we call him Vlad Aguilar. When you see this kind of division, Vlad, inside the conservative movement, what does it say about where we are at as a country and more specifically as a party of conservatives?
Well, this is exactly the type of fact that destroy leftist narrative. They say Trump supporters are a cult. And no, we are not. Like you can see, we can disagree from Trump and other stuff. We support the man for most of the ideas he's bringing to America, but sometimes we are not agreeing on the same issues. Like, for example, like right now, Thomas Massie issue, I really agree with Thomas Massie about the money sending out of this country. That's a thing that I feel like most of the Americans are agree with. And especially, and I want to be clear about this, guys, Trump endorsement to the other guy looks nice as an endorsement. But we the people, we are the ones that wins elections. Not Amen. A president, not an endorsement, not like a national marketing campaign or nothing like that. I know as a fact that Massie's electoral constituents, they are like from the MAGA base. So this will be an interesting election to see how the outcome of this election gets.
And I'll say this, Vlad. I haven't agreed with Thomas Massie.
Yeah, in the past, me neither.
That he's done.
Yeah,
but he's the only member of Congress that refuses to accept any foreign money with regard to his campaign, and I'm talking from AIPAC to everything else in between. I mean, he wants to keep that separate, you know, with regards, so it doesn't influence or have the appearance of influencing, and we know it does.
And I feel that's the way we need to do it. Like, we need to take big money, especially like foreign money, out of the U.S. politics, because that's the only way we can take, like, you know, the power of these nations in our hands. That's the only way.
Yes. You know, in your experience under communism, how did the regime exploit division among those who opposed it?
Well, first, there's no free elections in Cuba. They do something that they call votation, but it's not a real thing. Everyone is agree with everything, which is really a lie. Is a lie, and that's not a real thing. But in the thing, when you see a president trying to push this hate against a good guy, because I believe Thomas Massie is he's a man of God, and I've seen like what he's going through with, you know, his wife and all of that, and I saw when the guy
who passed away. Yeah,
he was struggling with that, and I feel in my heart that he's a man of God. When you see President Trump pushing all this hate against him, that's not a good thing.
And that's one of the things about Trump that I absolutely despise sometimes, is his bravado, and, you know, even at Charlie Kirk's funeral, you know, he after, you know, Erica Kirk had just given such a resounding, moving speech about forgiveness and forgiving those who persecute you and forgiving those who actually killed your husband. He got up there and he said, he was honest. You know, you can't take that away from Trump. He said, I can't forgive somebody like that or the left. He said, I hate them, you know, and that's where I get one of my little cringe moments, but that's who he is. You know, Vlad, a couple minutes left in this segment. How important is it to keep our focus on principles, not personalities? Yep. I'm going to say that again, on principles and not personalities in these fights.
Actually, this is the main issue we are, you know, confronting these days on the Republican side. And I feel like people sometimes they need to understand, like, if you want to like implement like a real conservative agenda, we need to go out there, guys, like, you know, together. And I know like some people say like, well, that unity that people are calling all the time is like fake. Yes, could be fake, but when you see the other side, I'm pretty sure like Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Ocasio-Cortez, all of them, they have a bunch of fights between them.
Oh, absolutely.
But when they need to come together as the party, they come together. And right now, we are giving the tools to the other side to spark division among the Republicans. And that's basically what we need to stop that.
And well said, and amen. We only have about a minute to go in this segment. What would you say to Kentuckians, Vlad, who are torn between loyalty to a candidate and loyalty to their values?
I will say, Kentuckians, when you go to vote, don't use your emotions. Just use the common sense. Check what the guy did in the past. Check the guy background. And if you feel that he did a great job, you can vote just toward that way. Forget about media. It's more about like drama, I will call it.
Yes, amen. You know, Vlad, strong people can absolutely disagree, but divided people can't win.
Yep.
When we lose sight of truth, we lose everything. Up next,
and trust me,
we're going to talk
I can't vote for Massie, but if I would, I would do it.
And the infamous Russia hoax and how the weaponization of government looks a lot like what Vlad saw in communist Cuba.
Kentucky's Voice is your home for real news, real people, and real answers. But we can't do it without you. Your financial support helps us bring truth to the forefront, hold leaders accountable, and give a voice to the people of the Commonwealth. Join the fight today. Give online at kyvoice.org or text KYVoice to 53555. Every gift makes a difference. Stand with us. Speak up. Stay strong. You are Kentucky's voice.
Kentucky's Voice Radio, online at kyvoice.org.
The documents contain emails, allegedly, from the senior vice president of the George Soros Open Society Foundation. He quotes a Clinton campaign advisor saying, quote, "It will be a long-term affair and to demonize Putin and Trump," and adds that, quote, "Later, the FBI will put more oil into the fire," unquote. Other emails reveal Hillary Clinton approved the idea of tying Trump and Russia to election interference. And that was a scheme hoping the allegations would distract people from her own email scandal. These documents provide clear evidence that Hillary Clinton's campaign was behind the Russia hoax and that the FBI knew what the Clinton team was up to, acknowledging that the info they were receiving about the Trump campaign may have come from the Clinton camp. Despite this, the Obama intel community forged ahead with their 2017 assessment, concluding that Russia aspired to help Trump win the election.
And welcome back to Kentucky's Voice, our final segment today. And as you saw, more and more information does keep surfacing, basically proving that the so-called Russia-Collusion narrative was totally built on lies. Democrats and their government allies used it to damage the President Trump and first administration and divide Americans. You know, and if that's not sedition or treason, whatever you want to label you want to put on it, I don't know what is. And it's now being shown that it was involvement all the way up as high as former President Obama being a part of that orchestration to work against Trump, and it did work to a great extent. Between the pandemic and him being tied up with these lies, it carried all the way up to the election, and it was enough to see where he got defeated in that way. And as they say, the rest is history. I do believe where darkness exists, when you start shining light on it, you're going to start seeing a cleansing and truth starting to come out. Now, whether those on the far left will ever accept that, I doubt it. They just don't want to. You can put facts right in front of their face, and I know several people that are like this, and they're still going to deny it, you know, because that's how much they are suffering with Trump derangement syndrome. Anything that involves President Trump is honestly like a vampire response to garlic. You know, it absolutely freaks them out, and they won't. They refuse, you know, to hear honest truth, you know, in the matter. And Vlad, and again, my special guest today is Vladimar Aguilar, who is a refugee from Cuba, and you lived through the propaganda campaigns in Cuba. What's your reaction to how this story is now unfolding?
This is basically what we went through as a kids in Cuba, like as a human being in Cuba. Like when you're born, they start to bombing you with propaganda. It's all about the ideology. It's never about the facts. And that's what you say before is the right thing. Like there is so much ignorance out there, and trust me, there's two types of ignorance. Is the first one like something that you don't know because you don't know it, period. And the other ignorance, and that's the worst, is when you show the people the facts and they refuse it. Someone say, I don't know who was, but someone say like, there's not enough evidence to convince an idiot about their things. But also, we got the other people that base, again, in their emotions, because they hate the guy, no matter what. Even if the guy is trying to save your kid from drowning, they'll be like, no, leave it, get drowned, because I don't like you. That's the type of people that we are dealing these days. And that's the first thing we need
Yeah,
to
and you know,
eradicate.
even we could talk about the most recent Tylenol information that came out. Sadly, some women that were pregnant to spite Trump basically overdosed on Tylenol to prove him wrong. And sadly, they died. There were several that died, and obviously, along with their unborn baby that they were carrying. I'm sorry, that's mental illness.
Yeah, it's an illness, 100%.
You can put whatever thing you want on it, and I do.
If Trump goes out there tomorrow and he say oxygen is bad, they will try to, hang themselves just to don't breathe because Trump say it. This is how idiot are these people.
Yeah, and and that's why the rhetoric that is primarily almost 100% coming from the far left, where he's being referred to as a Nazi, someone that wants to kill you needs to go away.
Let me educate people here just a little bit, guys. Stop calling Nazi to other people, because Nazi, it was the party of National Socialism.
Yes.
And you call yourself socialist. So the only Nazi people here are you guys. But of course, as a socialist, you'll try to project in other people or your mental illness and all your mistakes. That's what happened here.
Yeah, the key word there is projecting or attempting to project gaslight onto your perceived opponent, exactly who you are. Why is controlling the narrative such a powerful tool for authoritarian systems, Vlad?
Remember, coming from the socialism, there is only the main goal is to keep the poor people poor, with the hope that one day they'll be rich. They don't want you to get out of the poorness or poverty or whatever. They don't want you to get educated, because if you get educated by yourself with the real facts, with the real thing of life, of course, you will get out of poverty, So that's the main goal of them. They want to give you poor, ignorant, uneducated, and of course they want to stay loyal, obedient. Like, you can talk, you can question, you can you have to basically be a mental and physical slave of them.
Yeah, and that's honestly, in my opinion, and not just my opinion, but in many observers, is exactly what the Democrats have attempted to do with our dear black brothers and sisters for many years. In fact, I'm not going to read the statement because it was very much inflammatory and prejudicial that President Johnson made when they passed the Civil Rights Act. But basically he said, we're going to keep the blank voting for us now. We can always count on them. And again, when they started with the freebies, the government handouts, which is what Mondami is now trying to do in New York City.
Yes.
That's why we can't, folks, have a socialist anything elected to power, let alone the biggest city in our country. When you start getting the freebies, that's what starts taking away your desire to work and go out and accomplish things, and more importantly, that's where you become beholden to government, and you are under their thumb, and they can cut you off anytime that they want to control you. How do ordinary citizens, Vlad, fight back against government overreach and very clear media manipulation?
Well, just get educated, guys. If you get educated by yourself and you don't follow any other people's narrative, do your own search. Do not trust the person. Listen to me. Do not trust the person who wants to give you something for free.
Yes.
There is nothing free in this life. Someone else, it's paying for it. And when I see all the, especially right now that Trump is cutting all the waste of spending on the federal budget, I see so many people going out there like claiming like, no, federal government have to take care of my 5-6 kids. No, they don't have to. You decide to have those kids. You have to be responsible for those kids. So go out there because you are pretty wealthy and healthy, and you can get a job and try to feed your kids and your family. So, and that's basically what these type of politicians like Mandani, they are trying to bet on. You know, they're always trying to bet on people, laziness and all that kind of stuff. Like, no, do not accept nothing free from no one, especially politicians. There's nothing free.
And amen. Two quick texts I want to get to that came in during the show.
Okay.
A little bit off topic as to what we're talking about right now, but I do want to acknowledge them. They came in earlier, one of our earlier discussions when we were talking about the No Kings protests. And a quick question they asked, did Mayor Greenberg support or participate in the No Kings protest? Can you answer that real quick?
Well, I know the last time they did the first edition of the No King protest, I know he were like, supporting the freedom of speech, but he was very clear, like, make no mistakes. You can express yourself, but just don't commit crime or chaos.
And the other text, it's a comment. I don't really see this, but again, it's America and they're entitled to their opinion. Massie needs to rein in his ego, you know.
I'll be honest, guys. We all have egos, you know.
Yeah,
sometimes,
right.
A little exceed out of the limits, but it's good to have egos because that ego is that push you to fight against the bad things.
Yes. Well, Vlad, it's been an honor once again to have you on our program. I want to thank you, for your courage and testimony and your love for this country. You reminded us that freedom isn't free, it's fragile.
Yep.
As we wrap up today's Kentucky's Voice, I want to leave you all with this. America stands at a crossroads. We can surrender to fear, division, and deceit, or we can return to faith, family, and freedom. The choice is ours. It's that simple, folks.
And the last thing, I had the United States to leave Cuba. We don't have another place to leave United States.
That's right.
Remember that.
Yes, amen to that. And, folks, until next time, I'm Bob Scott, thanking you for listening to Kentucky's Voice. Stand strong.
God bless.
Keep the faith. And remember, God is still in control.